Good day everyone. Good day ma'am. By the way, I'm Trian Francisco Nakawili. I represent from Group 5 the tackle about A Respectable Woman by Kate Chopin. The Story of an Hour, first published in 1894 in Vogue magazine, is one of Chopin's briefest and most widely read stories. Louise Mallard's response to the news that her husband has been killed and her demise upon his appearance exemplifies Chopin's beliefs regarding women's roles in marriage and feminine identity. The story was initially rejected by Century magazine and by Vogue as well, and it was published only after Chopin's collection Voyou Folk garnered critical acclaim. Next, the main themes of the short story, A Respectable Woman by Kate Chopin, are identity and desire versus restraint. The theme of identity is enhanced through motives such as perception and appearances, because the story tends to follow the way that protagonist perceives herself and Governil. Feminist criticism is a form of literary criticism that based on feminist theories. Broadly, it's understood to be concerned with the politics feminism, and it uses feminist principles to critique the male-dominated literature. Kate Chopin should be considered a feminist writer. She worked hard to show what life was like an American woman in the 19th century, as well as the struggle that women face with being accepted and able to determine their own destinies. Next, Mrs. Baruda finds that Governil, her husband friend, is staying with them on their plantation. She is dissatisfied by this because they had been having a lot of fun and she had hoped for a break. She'd never met the man but had heard a lot of good things about him. She sat on a beach outside at night, pondering why she makes her feel so uncomfortable. She wants to hug her, but her reputation as a respectable woman prevents her from doing so. She returns after Governor has left and initially objects to his reappearance. However, she champions his visit within a year, much to her husband's surprise. She simply states that she has overcome all obstacles and treats him with respect. Kate Chopin's A Respectable Woman is one of the best stories from her, which is about a woman who is attracted to her husband's college friend. The story covers her conflict between what she feels and what social norms dictate. This conflict is universal everywhere and every time this can occur. And the background of this conflict, there are some basic conventional and cliché ideas which constitute the main disagreement of feminists. Feminism is a movement which advocates the social, political, and economic equality of sexes. We are not sure whether or not Kate Chopin was a feminist. However, it can be clearly seen that their ideas harmonize with the feminist approach. For instance, in the story, feminist ideas can be seen, such as human's search for her identity, the effect of social norms on women's lives and women's understanding of sexuality. Generally, the social norm is an obstacle for women. Social norms create a conflict for her. This conflict can be understood by her thinking. After her confession to herself, she thinks that she did not care what else she might have done if she had not been a respectable woman. This conflict is based on social norms. Society disapproves of emotional feelings of a married woman to someone else. And this story, the relativity of being a respectable woman, is handled with Mrs. Baruda's conflict. At the end of the story, there is no certainty. We don't know if she will choose her feelings or overcome them. By that way, Kate Chopin makes us question. Being respectable means living according to social norms or living our lives without regret. To conclude, a respectable woman illustrates some strong feminist notions. When we think about Mrs. Baruda's situation, we can make lots of connections between her and many women. Unlike Mrs. Baruda, many women live in that complicated situation in real life. From the feminist approach, Mrs. Baruda is an icon to show their loose identities, their, their perspective on sexuality, and how women feel under pressure due to social norms. Next, conclusion. A Respectable Woman, first published in Vogue in 1894, is quintessential Chopin and shows us the full extent of her skill as a short story writer. Consequently, we can say the title is representative of the woman's conflict between desire and honor reputation in which the latter prevails. Although she is drawn to governor, Mrs. Baruda respects the norms of social conduct and does not give in to temptation. That's all. Thank you and God bless everyone.